My name's Billy Woodman. I'm Managing Director and founder of ATC, Acoustic Transducer Company. The SCM10 I've always thought was the greater achievements that ATC has made, in as much as it's very difficult to make such a small loudspeaker that will reproduce piano and human voice accurately with good balance. Although it involved some compromises with regard to efficiency and power handling capacity, it produced a neutral fidelity that ATC's reputation has been built on, particularly as a consequence of the soft dome mid-range in all of its larger models. The SCM7 came after the SCM10 and was a byproduct of it. SCM7 doesn't have quite the base extension of the SCM10, but has slightly greater efficiency and improved power handling capacity. But the 10 is still, from a pure performance point of view, a substantially better product. Expectations of the market that the SCM7 took over from the SCM10. It's my favourite loudspeaker. It was hugely lengthy and difficult, the development process of designing the mid-range dome and all the drive units in the larger loudspeakers, but it was a more extensive program of research and development that was required to make the SCM10 have the resolution that it has to reproduce acoustic music, particularly piano and small string ensembles and the human voice. It's a perfect partner for anyone who loves listening to jazz, small jazz ensembles, string quartets, classical piano. There have been improvements in materials for the diaphragm over the years, and also improvements in magnet design, and they've been incorporated, and so the new SCM10's slightly more efficient than the original one, and most significantly it now has ATC's own high frequency driver. We put the S version, the highest performance tweeter that we manufacture, into the signature SCM10. That limited edition, 70 pairs for my 70th birthday, that's a one-off reproduction of the SCM10. They'll always perform best with solid state. There's no reason why you couldn't use a tube amplifier if it had a high damping factor, but such a low damping factor that's present in most tube designs is not suitable for any of the ATC range of loudspeakers. You want to have a damping factor of 1,000 or greater. Class D digital amplifiers have their own problems, and we don't list them in amplifiers that we recommend to be used with ATC. They contain, from our point of view, distortions that are not acceptable in a high resolution audio system. Primarily, you want an amplifier that is at least 100 watts and preferably more, because an enormous amount of clarity just comes from having large dynamic range. So that you can have, if you have a Class A amplifier that has 30 watts per channel, that will never sound as good as a Class AB amplifier that has 250 watts per channel. Just because the transients, for instance, when a piano note is first struck, requires a very large amount of power capacity in order to reproduce that faithfully. Otherwise, you'll be listening to an amplifier overloading and recovering from overload all the time, rather than hearing the transient going through the system. We've been working on tweeter design for 15 years or more, but weren't willing to put one on the market until it had a performance that we were proud of. You have to always remember that ATC's benchmarks very high with the soft dome mid-range, and so that if we're going to make a tweeter, it has to at least have comparable performance. It has been separately designed. The two different models have slightly different characteristics and diaphragm structures, and the highest performance one of the two is the S version, which has a much larger flux density in the magnet gap and a more extended high frequency response. Yeah, ATC has had the P1 on the market for some time now to match up with the entry series loudspeakers, together with a range of integrated amplifiers. We'll be launching a P2, which is a 300 watt per channel, has the same visuals as a P1, but you have all that extra headroom. And it was designed to partner the smaller loudspeakers. It's perfect with the SCM40 passive or the SCM19 or even an SCM11. And you can happily use it also with the larger SCMs, the 50s, the 100s and the 150s. Well, let me first tell you that it is my son who is now General Manager of ATC and will take over from me completely eventually. He and Ben Lilly and Richard Newman, the engineering people in our R&D department, will be the ones who develop the future range of products for ATC. For the next foreseeable future, the products are already planned. Their development and preparation for production is already underway. What happens in the future is going to be someone else's decision. But there is no reason at all why we shouldn't make streaming preamplifiers or DACs or any other piece of electronics. And the process of development, research and development into loudspeaker drive units, which is the core of ATC's engineering skill, continues. And that will always remain the core of ATC's engineering skill. It is what differentiates ATC from everyone else. Yeah, thank you very much.